Hey, Giant fans, welcome to the Giant Insider Podcast. My name is Jerry Foley. I'm the senior editor of the Giant Insider newspaper. And with me, as always, is my partner and the beat writer for the Giant Insider, Chris Bisignano, who was causing, not a stir, but getting some attention on Twitter today. I was going to talk about we're going to talk about the upcoming game against Washington, and I was going to talk about some of the moves. But, buddy, you made a very astute tweet today about some of the comments that Bart Scott made on a show that I'm sure doesn't. I don't know how it's still on the air. But when Bob Papa retweets it, when Russ Salzberg comments on it, and seemingly every Giant fan that follows us comments on it, it's pretty obvious you did something right. You struck a chord, and I'm usually what's funny, everybody, is I'm the one that's insane, right? Right? It's clear. Chris is the voice of reason, if that's believable. But Chris, and I'll read the tweet. Bart Scott said Odell is bringing down the locker room with his non-enthusiastic answer to quote-unquote regret question. Even saying he could bring a guy like Shep down. And this was the best part of your tweet. Folks, I'm in the locker room all the time. Nothing could be further from the truth. Chris, buddy, the floor is yours.
Yeah, that kind of annoyed me a little bit. And you see what Russ Salzberg tweeted the same thing, right?
Oh, Russ Salzberg, real quick, just so everyone hears it, says you're being far too polite, Giant Insider. I, too, am in the locker room every day. Tell it like it is. Bart Scott is full of blank. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. But before Bart runs his yap about being in the Giants locker room, maybe he ought to step foot in it just once. Boom, baby. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, let's, Russ is, he's passionate too. And listen, I guess Russ took it the same way I did, is that you can't be making statements like that, unless you're in the locker room. And listen, you know how we are here at the Giant Insider. We're going to say like it is. When we feel like Odell needs to be criticized, we will do it. And when we feel Odell needs to be defended,
right,
we will do it. And I'm not going to, just sit there and listen to Bart Scott, who, if you saw it on Twitter, I respect Bart. I respect his opinion, and I respected his game when he played.
Right. But
he's not in the locker room, so to say something like Odell, could bring down a locker room with his words, and could even possibly bring down a young guy like Sterling Shepard. I mean, it's ridiculous, especially, when I'm in there and I see what's going on, and I happen to be.
And Chris, don't be so modest. Sterling Shepard and you talk a lot. I mean,
yep.
Come on, that's completely made up with what Scott's saying.
Yeah, I mean, me and Shep do talk a lot.
Right.
And we have talked about Odell at times, and some of the stuff I'll keep between me and Shep. But I could tell you this, Jerry, is that at no time there's anything Odell Beckham saying in the locker room, any of his answers to any of the media questions,
right,
at no time does it affect Sterling Shepard, especially he's a daddy now, and he's a newlywed basically, and they just had their first child, him and his wife. And trust me when I tell you this, the answers Odell gives to the media does not faze Sterling Shepard one iota, and it doesn't faze anybody else in the locker room. Odell's Odell, Jerry. Listen, he says some wacky things. He could be a little out there at times, Odell, but his teammates like him a lot. And I was just talking about it with Snacks before, he got traded. And the same thing, it doesn't affect anybody. It's a pretty tight-knit locker room. And I just felt like Bart Scott was out of line today. To me, listen, if it's a Kim Jones or if it's one of the, a Jordan Raydon, are they saying something like that? Okay, you got to respect, they're in the locker room. They could say that. But a guy who's not in the locker room.
That's right.
Saying that when he has no idea, and it's just totally, completely was off base. And it just, I'm going to defend Odell when he needs to be defended.
Right.
And I don't care what people are trying to turn around with his answer yesterday. They asked about you regret, signing a contract. And, certain people are trying to spin it saying, oh, he regrets it. He does not regret it. He said nothing wrong.
Yeah, he regrets being 1-6, right? Like, and look, man, you and I better than anybody who's listening. I'm not easy on Odell. I
No,
find flaws
and
with
that's
him.
fair.
But
Yeah.
we're fair. Like, don't make up news. And I hate saying fake news, but don't make things up. And I'm not admittedly, everybody probably knows this. I'm not a fan of that show. It's three people who hate the Giants, and it's on the flagship station of Giants football. And it's a carryover from the morning show that hates the Giants. And, you know, and I mean, two out of the first three shows are, you know, credit to Benigno and Roberts. They're Jets fans, but they're pretty fair to the Giants. But two out of the first three shows on that station hate the Giants. And it is what it is. But to make things up like that, buddy, great job by you calling it out. And again, real quick, the Twitter reaction was phenomenal. And it's so cool, man. I know this sounds corny to probably everybody listening, but, you know, Bob Papa follows a lot of people. Sims follows a lot of people. Deal follows a lot of people. Banks follows us. You know, Russ Salzberg follows us. These guys are guys that Chris and I grew up watching, and I'm sure a lot of you did. And now they're following us on Twitter and retweeting. Like, it was such a valid point when Bob Papa retweeted what you wrote. I'm just thinking, man, you know, it's almost like it was blessed by the Pope, for God's sake.
Well, you know, Bob is a guy that, you know, I know I speak for you on this one too, Jerry. We have the utmost respect for.
Oh, yeah.
I interviewed Bob, you know, for the paper, and he's just a class act, Bob, you know, and he happens to be a very, very knowledgeable man in regards to the game of football. So, you know, Bob wasn't too happy either, I guess, when I tweeted out about the whole misconception of how John Mara, you know, told Dave Gettleman and Pat Shermer, you could take this job. I'll hire you guys, but Eli Manning has to be the quarterback.
Again, that's fake. That's not true.
And that's, I know for a fact, and I'll never reveal who told me, but I know for a fact that is an absolute and complete lie.
Right.
And that should stop going around in media. You know, certain people, you know, certain radio stations like to feed into that.
Yep.
It's an absolute lie. And if anybody hears this as far as that radio station, I'll be happy to give my cell number. I'll be happy to take an Uber cab down to your station and,
my man,
and talk
nice.
About it. But
awesome.
I just don't like it, Jerry. You know, just stop with the false stuff out there. You know what I mean? So
you know what, Giant fans, this is what it is. What happened today? You should all feel like the kid that's getting their butt kicked at school. The money's been your lunch money's been taken by the bully. In steps Big Brother Chris, puts out a tweet heard around the world, and you got NFL royalty liking it. So again, buddy, great job by you. Thank you, and Giant fans should thank you because you set the record straight, man. Thanks so much. Now, there were some trades that happened. We discussed the first one the other day, Apple being traded to the Saints for a 4 and a 7. We both agreed you would have liked more, but to get a 4 and a 7, the Giants are setting themselves up nicely next draft, and they can do some things where maybe they can move up in some rounds. And then the next day, of course, we dropped the podcast, and then a very, very popular player among the fans and in the locker room, Damon Harrison, was traded for a 5th. And right away, my first reaction was the same as most Giant fans. Like, why did we only get a 5th for him? But it was very likely that the Giants were going to release him at the end of the year because of his contract, if not renegotiate. And they got something for him. I would have liked him more than a 5th. I thought he was worth more like a 4th or a 3rd. But he's a 29-year-old tackle who really plays the run. He doesn't get much of a push in the pass rush. But I don't know. My initial reaction was sad, and I feel bad. I love Damon Harrison. He was always good to us. He did an interview with you. He was a good guy in the community. It's a shame that it ended like this, but you know, I hope I'm rooting for Detroit for him. I hope they do well. I hope he has success there and they can do well the rest of the year.
Yeah, you know, Jerry, you hit it on the head. He was probably going to get released, Snacks.
Yeah.
After the season, I don't think there's any question about that. You know, he's going to be 30 in a couple weeks, in a month or so. He's a run. You know, he's one of the best run-stopping defensive tackles in the game, no question about it. But when you're 1-6, or you know the way the season's going, it's going to be like a 3-13 season, and you need cap space. This is what happens in a sport. You know, Snacks realizes it's a business. You know, most players do. It's tough because I happen to like Snacks personally myself, but it is a business, and the Giants obviously, you know, are freeing up tons of cap space to start rebuilding, Jerry, and that's an example of that. I mean, you know, some veterans, when you're on a losing team in this league, and you're making a lot of money, and you're up around 30 years old, a Well, guess what?
Yeah.
The like the old saying used to be in training camp, the Turk might be coming.
Yeah.
And in this case, you have a very good chance of being released.
Yeah, unless you're a quarterback. That seems to be the only 30-year-old where you could get another big contract because you could probably play till you're 35, 36, 37.
Right.
But yeah, it was a sad day, but kind of onward and upward. And Dalvin Tomlinson will probably move to the middle now, and B.J. Hill will get rotated in. They think Dalvin Tomlinson is more natural in the middle, more like rather than a defensive end. So Kerry Wynn will benefit from this. He'll get some more playing time, and we'll see what happens. But obviously the next name is Jenkins. There's some people saying Collins. I don't know about that. There was a Twitter rumor that perhaps Shepard, and that's just someone saying it, which Carl Banks took exception to. If you followed that Twitter, conversation, it was like, wow, he likes Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
But who do you think it is? I mean, obviously Jenkins seems to be the one that makes the most sense, and I would want a third for him because he's still a good corner. And now that Patrick Peterson's off the market, Jenkins is the guy. Who do you think? Give me one or two guys that you think might get shipped before the trade deadline.
Jerry, I would have to say Jenkins. I'm sure Gettleman's working the phones for him.
You think he's the only one?
I do believe he's the only one.
Yeah.
Collins, no. I mean, I can't see Collins. I think Collins is in the Giants' future. Jerry, I really listen. Collins is having a solid year. He's not having a big impact year as far as interceptions and forced fumbles, but he's having a solid year. Collins, he is in the top 8 ranked safety in this league right now. He's just having a quiet, solid year, right? I mean, like in 16, he did everything: interceptions, forced fumbles. He seemed to be everywhere, but it's not like he's having a bad year, Landon. He's playing well. I think he's in the Giants. I believe he's one of the reasons why they're creating a lot of cap space too. I mean, the Giants are gonna have to sign him. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah,
Jared. So I don't know where that's coming from. The Shepard thing, I'm just going to totally disregard. I think me and Carl Banks and you basically on the same page with that one. Somebody came up with a Shep trade thing. I don't know where that came from, but if anybody, I would say Janoris because he's a cap hit. He's getting up there a little bit now in age, and you could get something for him.
And real quick, the guy who came up with the Shepard one, the proposal, he's a good guy. And he does a lot of film work, and he was all over Josh Rosen for the draft and basically was saying how, Allen didn't go through the progressions. And right now he's been proven right. Like Josh Allen is at the bottom of the league and everything. Again, he's a rookie, but I just wanted to point out that the person who put out that tweet is respected and very good at his job. It's just, it was funny seeing the reaction of someone like Carl Banks who just
Carl was fired up. Carl was fired up. Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. The Giants kind of debunked the Collins trade rumors already by saying that they've fielded offers and they've turned them down. That's the latest that came out. But we'll see what happens. I agree with you. I think it's going to be Jenkins. I don't think it'll be anyone else. I don't know if there's anyone else really that can warrant picks coming back, to be honest with you.
I'm not even sure even Jenkins. I'm sure, people by Tuesday afternoon will be, Gettleman will be receiving some calls, But you know what? Sherman likes Jenkins. Jerry. He likes his edge. He likes the way he goes about his business. Is he having the best of years? No, we know that. But Sherman does like him. So will it be a surprise if he stays here? No, not at all. But I guess if one veteran is going to go, it'll be him.
All right, buddy. Redskins Sunday. I don't know how much rain we're supposed to get if it's tomorrow and Sunday, but
Sunday's supposed to be all right now.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that's good for the fans that are still going to show up to this one. But what are your thoughts on this game? I mean, no one's tanking. By the way, anybody who says the Giants are tanking, it's not the case. These guys are professionals. They're going to go out. They're going to give it their best. Now, the players that go out there by week 12, 13 may be unrecognizable. For what we're used to, because it'll be the reserves. But even right now, like guys like Sean Chandler from Temple is going to get a shot. The kid from Penn State, Haley's going to get a shot. So Giants are already starting to look a little different. What are your thoughts in this game? The Giants are actually a 1-point underdog, which I'm stunned by. I can't believe this game's not at least 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, well, it's a history of Washington really not playing well in Giant Stadium. Giants beat them there last year. I think it's I think it's something that the Redskins are really hurt. They have basically no receivers, and when you see that, you say, "Oh, what's going on here?" Obviously the money's coming in on Giants, in Vegas. I think the Redskins secondary is struggling. And I think, you look at the matchups like everything else in this league, and the Giants match up pretty well against them Sunday. So this is going to be a tight game. And would it surprise me if the Giants win? No, it won't, because Alex Smith basically has nobody left receiver-wise.
Yeah.
And their secondary is not strong. I know I've said that before, but I guess that's where the line is.
We said that for Atlanta too.
Yeah, I know. Well, Eli did have 399 yards. I know a lot of it was the last few drives.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? This could be a game, Jerry, where the red zone offense actually connects once or twice, and that could be enough to beat Washington. I guess that's where the line is coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Redskins have I think the 5th ranked overall defense, right, for yardage.
Yeah, they're really good against the run.
Yeah.
But they're a little weak in the back end.
So we'll see what their pass rush does against the Giants. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and I think the game will be closer. I don't know the 1-point spread if that's going to hold up, but I think it will be actually a close game. Going to be interesting to see how Barkley does against a good rush defense like that. And Atlanta just kind of pinned their ears back and said, "All right, anyone but Barkley beat us," and of course we lost. But you wonder if the Redskins will kind of approach this game the same way.
Yeah, I don't expect the Giants to rush much.
Yeah.
They got 2 big kids, they're number 1 picks up front, and they're really playing a well run. They got 2 inside linebackers in Foster and Zach Brown that are excellent. The 2 animals up front, they're 2 number 1 picks the last 2 years. They're really playing well. So Eli's going to have to win this game for them, and it'd be nice if the defense gets a few turnovers, right? They, to set up the defense a little bit. You haven't seen that this year.
You like Zach Brown, I think, last year in free agency, right?
Yeah, I love Zach. I always love Zach Brown. He's a tackling machine.
Yeah.
I really like Mason Foster next to him too.
Yeah.
They got the Payne kid, the number 1 pick the last 2 years, in Allen and Payne, and they're really playing well. I was watching them, their previous few games, and those guys are playing well up front.
Yeah, Chris, you're an idiot savant with other teams, man. I admit, I know more about the Giants pretty much than anybody, but
right.
I mean, some of these guys, I'm like, I have to look on my phone, who the hell's that? When was he drafted? There's a reason why you do the previews in the Giant Insider, because you know the other teams pretty much as well as you know the Giants. So, good job by you. I don't know how you pulled that off.
Yeah. I love the sport, but you know that.
I watch football like a 5-year-old. When the Giants are losing, the other games I turn them off and I do whatever my wife wants me to do that day. Not that she asks a lot, because I don't really do much around the house. I'm pretty useless. Right. But if she has something for me to do, like go somewhere, I'll go with her, because I don't really care. I don't want to watch Dallas, the Eagles, and Washington not this week, but the arch rivals win, so I tune a deaf blind eye to football once the Giants start losing. So I admit I'm a bit of a 5-year-old with that. So.
Hey Jerry, a little surprising, the Josh Norman Odell matchup hasn't grown many legs this week, right?
Yeah, I don't think
pretty quiet.
He's probably not going to be matched up on him that much, right? It's the other corner that's better, isn't he?
No, the other corner's a kid right now. It's a 3rd-round pick from last year. And Quentin Dunbar's out. He's not playing.
Oh,
he's questionable.
There you go. This is why you're you and I'm.
Yeah, no, the kid Moreau. You'll see him Sunday, number 31. He's going to play in the other corner, and he hasn't been playing really well at all. But Norman hasn't said nothing this week, and Odell hasn't even mentioned Josh Norman, so that thing is way in the past. You remember a couple of years ago with those two,
yeah.
And then he comes over to the Redskins last year, and last year's first game was built up pretty good, but that's been pretty quiet on the Norman Odell front. I guess the trades and what's going on with the Giants kind of took that out of the picture, huh?
Yeah. Plus, Norman stinks now, right? I mean, he's nothing like he was 3 years ago.
I'm not going to say he stinks, Jerry, but I always thought he was a little overrated to begin with. He had that one really good year in Carolina.
Yeah.
But I never really thought he was a top corner anyway. Especially now, he's playing pretty decent, but I wouldn't say he's a lockdown corner.
All right, buddy. Let's get to our picks. We'll do the Giants game last, and again this week there's a 9:30 game, and The fact that it's in London and that Eagle fans made the trip, I would pay money to see South Jersey Eagle fans, Northeast Philly Eagle fans in another culture. They can't go to other states without getting pointed out how embarrassing they act in the world. I couldn't imagine seeing them in London, but Eagles, Jags, the tale of I think the winner of this game I think the loser of this game, I should say, is might fall to oblivion at 3-5 because look, especially the Jaguars, they've struggled and the past few weeks have not looked good. Who do you like in this one, bud?
No, you're not going to like this, but I see the Jaguars. A.J. Boyd is out. They're down to Jalen Ramsey, and they're missing half the secondary. They're missing 3 guys, it looks like, for Sunday's game. I like the Eagles. I think their front 4, even with Barnett out for the year, I think their front 4 will do enough damage to pick Bortles off like 3 times. They get enough pressure, and Bortles will be throwing the ball all over the place. I like the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's going to be more like an Eagles home game because I would imagine most Eagle fans spent most of their life savings to go to this game coming up, and I think they're going to go, and I think they're going to overrun the stadium. It's going to sound like a Philadelphia home game, unfortunately, and I agree with you. I can't trust Jacksonville. I mean, the Eagles have lost some heartbreakers, and it's been wonderful to watch, but I still think they're the best team in the NFC East, so I'm going to go with the Eagles as well, and I'm going to throw up in my mouth after I say it. Ravens at Panthers, 1:00.
I like the Ravens in this one. This is a battle of pretty good defenses. Ravens are one of the best.
Yeah.
They should have tied. They should have went to overtime last week against the Saints. They missed the extra point at the end. I like the Ravens to bounce back in this one. I don't know what it is. I'm still not sold in this Carolina team. The Giants should have beat them. They won a tough one. They came back, beat the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Again, being that I'm a 5-year-old, I'm picking them because they beat the Eagles last week as a thank you. I may not think they're going to win, but you know what, Carolina? Thank you for making Eagle fans miserable at the stink of a stadium that they have. So I'm gonna go with the Panthers, baby. I'm a believer in Superman, Cam Newton. I'm really not, but I'm still going with the Panthers. Broncos at Chiefs. That'll be well.
Oh, please!
It's not really a good one.
I tell you, man, I'm so impressed with this Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're like running a track meet out there. Watching them last Sunday just dismantle the Bengals was like, whoa. I like the Chiefs big again.
Yeah, did you see Hill dropped one in the end zone and then they went right back to him and he called? That's how good they are, right? Like Hill drops a 30-yard easy touchdown, then they get a little closer and then Mahomes fires another one to him. It's almost like, I made up for it. Like they're just that good. It's sickening to watch. I think they're going to be the team that comes out of the AFC this year now, as long as they can, if they can get home field and not have to go into New England. Even if they do go into New England, they could beat them. But if they have home field, I don't think anybody's beating them. I'm with you, bud. I'm going with the Chiefs. Browns at Steelers.
I think the Steelers are starting to come on a little bit now. They're coming off their bye week. I like the Steelers to beat the Browns. Baker Mayfield's kind of hurt a little bit, right? The last few games.
He's been struggling. I'm with you on that. I like the Steelers as well, just because of, like you said, I don't think Mayfield has not played well the past few games. So.
I see Le'Veon Bell basically lied to the Steelers again, huh? Didn't he say he was coming in on a bye week? He never showed.
Yeah. Just got to make sure that the Eagles don't trade for him. Like that's all I'm watching for on that team, man. If I could see them pulling off some harebrained, we'll give you Roseman makes it sound enticing. We'll give you a 5th-round pick, something stupid, and the stupid Steelers will go for it. Le'Veon Bell comes to Philly and makes my life a living hell. They'll call him the Liberty Bell or something ridiculous. And
oh my God,
I'm envisioning it already, and I could see it happening. So I just got to light an extra candle at church this Sunday to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Seahawks at Lions.
I tell you, look at the Seahawks team. You know what? I don't like the guy personally, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, me neither.
Jerry. But I tell you what, man, it's amazing how he's got these guys playing. Russell Wilson's one of the best in football, and he's doing it again. He's willing this team to win. The defense is playing so fast, with so many new guys. I'm going to go with Seattle and the upset on the road. I think they're 3-point underdog. I'm going to go with Seattle and the upset in Detroit.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm going to go with Snack's new team. Snacks, Kennard, Aquara, they're all there, right? Yeah, the whole Giant.
Yeah, I think they all have like, except for Snacks, of course. I think they have like 6 sacks each too.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Giants Midwest. Motor City Giants. I'm going to go
Yeah.
with the Lions just because it's a toss-up in the games at home, and I'm rooting for Snacks Harrison. My analysis nearly isn't as good as yours. I admit this.
No, but listen, that's a good pick, but you know, it's not like that's not a far-fetched pick. You're probably going to win that. Are you kidding?
Buccaneers at Bengals.
This Tampa Bay's offense is pretty good. They won a game last week. They lost a close one a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta, where they actually scored 29 points. Something that our team couldn't do.
Right.
In Atlanta. I don't like this Bengal team. I've said it for weeks now, right? I kind of thought they were like a little bit of a fraud when they were 4-1.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Tampa with an upset on the road.
I'm with you. I'm not a believer in the Bengals. I thought they lost to the Steelers. I just think there's something mental with them. And Marvin Lewis has been their coach for so long, and still don't know how he has a job. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers on the road as well. I think their offense will be too much for the Bengals. Last of the ones, because we'll do the Giants game last. Jets at Bears.
Bears. I think Bears will do enough defensively to rattle Sam Darnold. They lost a tough one last week because of special teams in New England. I think they'll do enough to beat the Jets at home.
So we have a couple Jet fans who listen to the podcast every week, and
you have Jet fan friends, buddy?
I do. It's not like it's not like Eagles or Dallas, so it's.
Well, I got Eagle friends out here. Believe me, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So he said to me, he goes, "Dude, why are you guys so hard on Sam Darnold? Why do you hate the Jets so much?" And you know what? He's right. We're a little hard on him. I gloat a little too much when the Jets, and it's because of WFAN and the Jets show. They should just call it, WJET. It's Jets all day long, and I'm just tired of hearing about them and how the Giants screwed up by taking Barkley instead of Darnold. But he has a point. I'm a little hard on the Jets. I'm still not going with them, though. I'm going with the Bears. I don't think the Jets have a shot in this game. I think this will kind of be the start. I don't know how the Jets' schedule goes the rest of the way,
tough.
but
they're
3-4 now. They're going to be 3-5 after Sunday, and then I still think they're going to be a 5 or 6 win team this year. They'll be picking up there. They'll be picking high next year enough to add maybe a weapon for Darnold. They have a lot of money under the cap, so Anyway, I'm going with the Bears. With the first of the 4 o'clocks, Colts at Chucky. Who do you like there?
I like the Colts.
Yeah,
I like the way they've been playing the last few weeks. Big win, not big win, but big win. They destroyed Buffalo last week.
Yeah.
The Raiders are a mess, man. I mean, you read about things in our locker room, and people are wondering what the heck Gruden's doing. And
yeah,
I'm going to go with Andrew Luck and the Colts on the road.
Yeah, I am too. Gruden is stockpiling picks, so they have, I think,
three number ones,
3 firsts and 2 seconds next year.
Oof, yeah.
That's the guy we got. If we want Herbert, that's where we got to worry, because I do think Carr will eventually get traded or released, or something will happen. I don't think he's the guy for Gruden. I don't care.
Do you want him?
No. I like Derek Carr, but I want to start new. Derek Carr 3 years ago was a different quarterback than he is now, and he had a good line 3 years ago. I've seen what he can be without a line, and I don't want a guy running around. I want to go new. I want to go brand new. I like Derek Carr, but he's not for us.
How about Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, because he won't cost as much money as Carr, right? So I'm fine with Teddy Bridgewater. Carr's already getting paid so much, he's going to demand a huge salary. We'll be right back where we started. We have to go with a younger guy, or I'm okay with a Bridgewater for like a holdover year, even if we have to.
Like a bridge guy, right?
No pun intended, right?
Right. But, draft like a bridge guy, draft a quarterback, and let Teddy, be in there. Let the quarterback sit behind him a couple of years. Bridgewater's got some game in him.
If Coughlin was here, bridge with Bridgewater. That would be the slogan.
That would be the slogan. Yeah.
But it's so these teams that win, you almost have like a 5-year window of winning before you have to open the vault for your quarterback. Not that you can't win after that, but look at Seattle, look at us, look at Baltimore. You start losing
Green Bay too.
Right, you start losing depth everywhere. So unless your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, you don't have any chance every week. So yeah, I don't want Derek Carr for a lot of reasons, and that's another one. So. But anyway, I like the Colts too, buddy. 49ers at Cardinals.
49ers at Cardinals. I'm going to go with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers on the road.
Yeah, me too. I want to watch Rosen, though. I don't know if he's out of a walking boot. I think he's going to play this week. I'm always curious to see what Rosen does. He's the guy. Not that I love Barkley, but I think he's the best of the three. And again, the Jeff fan's going to hear this and get mad at me. I think he's the most talented of the three quarterbacks that were taken in the first round after. So always curious to watch Rosen. I'll probably be watching him for a lot of his career. But I agree with you, bud. I am going with the 49ers as well. Packers at Rams. I think this is the biggest underdog for Aaron Rodgers in his career so far.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
I don't know the spread, but that's all over Twitter.
I think it's 9. It's 9.5.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest spread where he's the underdog. Yeah, I'll go first here. I'm going with the Rams. I don't think the Packers are going to win. I think the Rams are going to cover that spread. I think it's going to be Chiefs-Rams in the Super Bowl. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC by a mile. And, they're incredible to watch, fun team to watch. I have a couple guys on fantasy on that team, and I'll be watching that game as well. So,
yeah, me too. I like the Rams pretty big, too. The Packers have been fortunate to win a couple of games. The 3 wins they have, 2 of them, they were real fortunate, big comebacks to win. They had to come back to beat the 49ers at home a couple of weeks ago. So I like the Rams big, too.
Sunday night, Saints at Vikings. Saints return to the scene of the crime with the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah.
I'll go first on this one. I believe in Drew Brees because it's in a dome. They shouldn't have lost last year. I'm not a big Vikings guy. The more I watch them this year, like even last week, they beat the Jets by 20, but that game was a one score game with 8 minutes to go in the third. I just never was a big Kirk Cousins guy. He's kind of proving he's better than Case Keenum, but I don't know, man. I'm not a big believer in the Vikings. I like Breeze, and by maybe 7 or 10 in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like this Saint team. You know what's going to happen Sunday. I'm sure Apple will have a pick 6 or something, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. Or 10 tackles, a pick 6, 5 deflections, you name it.
Right. So I'm sure that's going to happen for them. I like this Saint team. Like you said, they play really well in the dome. They're going to look for a little revenge. I'm not a Cousins guy at all. They're hurting on the back end, too, in their secondary. I think Breeze is going to pick them apart. I like New Orleans in a revenge game.
A Monday night stinker, man. Patriots at Bills. I guess we'll go with the Patriots in this one.
Yeah. I mean, is there any question? Isn't New England amazing? I mean, all kidding aside, isn't New England amazing?
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And we've talked about Solder, and anybody who leaves there, man, it's almost like you're leaving like the Empire. And
yeah. Could I just make a quick comment on
Absolutely.
Nate Solder,
Sure.
Jerry? A lot of people out there, they like to say this. Belichick, man, he's got an unbelievable knack of letting guys go. And he's done that a few times, I agree. But let's not forget something. Belichick offered Nate Solder a lot of money.
Yes.
The Giants offered the most.
Right.
Okay, so let's not act like Belichick didn't offer Solder anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They wanted him back. New England goes to a certain number, and then they stop. That's the way they do things. All right, and the Giants obviously, get him, and we needed the offensive line, and he obviously overpaid for Solder, which a lot of free agents are overpaid in the market. But let's not act like Belichick didn't want Nate Solder back.
Right.
All right, that's something that's thrown around Twitter and certain radio stations too. They like to say about how I heard it the other day in the morning about how Belichick just threw him to the side because he knew his career was done. Not true, Sorry, I'm not going to mention the radio station, but once again, if you're going to talk football, please know what you're talking about,
especially on the air, right?
And
it's not like a podcast that they're doing. I mean, it's a big station in New York for New York sports.
I just don't get it. But it's not true. The New England did offer Solder money. It just wasn't the number he was looking for.
Right.
The Giants did come in with the number he was looking for, and he became a Giant. So please, could we stop with the Belichick didn't want Solder? Oh, he knew he was done. Let's get rid of him. Absolutely not true.
Nice.
Okay. Can we settle that, please?
Speaking of,
and Brandon Tierney, what station is he on?
Oh, ESPN. I don't even know.
He's on Fan, I believe, right?
I don't know.
Just a quick
I should know,
quick
and
thing.
I don't because I avoid sports talk radio, especially when the Giants are 1-6. I don't. I try not to listen. Everything I get about CMB and the Boomer and Geo show, and I never thought I'd miss Craig Carton. The Boomer and Geo show. That's from Twitter or friends of mine saying, "Do you believe what these guys are saying?" And I'm like, guys, I don't listen. So.
Yeah, it's this guy Brandon Tierney. Before I just quickly, Jared.
Yeah,
he's talking about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and he's going down the schedule. This is a loss. This is a win. This is a loss, win. With the Packers saying you're not going to make the playoffs, and has anybody learned their lesson regarding trying to predict NFL football games? That you cannot sit there, look at a schedule, and go win, loss, win, loss. All right, I'm sorry, dude. I just listen to people on the radio, and they sit there and they predict an NFL schedule. It's absolutely ludicrous. But
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing these people are on the radio getting paid well, and they know zero about the sport.
I like the role reversal tonight. I like that you're unhinged. I think it's awesome. I think it's phenomenal. But I just looked up Tierney. He's on CBS Sports Radio. And to your point, I was listening to the Philly Sports Radio earlier this year, and I laughed that I hear more about the Giants on Philly Sports Radio than I do on WFAN. It's kind of a joke me and my buddies have. But they were going down their schedule as well. And through the first 10 games, they're like, I only assume one loss here. I mean, Philly says that every year, so I don't take it seriously, but it's just comical. Like you said, it's you go down and you try to make these predictions without injuries, without knowing the ebbs and flow of the season. Yeah. And I just hearing these homers say, "Oh yeah, no, they're 9-1. I see one loss here, maybe they should be 10-0." It's funny. But speaking of Nate Solder, where you were going before. Redskins at New York Football Giants, the 1-6 Giants against the first place Redskins. I'll let you go first, and then I'm going to go.
Okay. I'm going to go. The Giants are not. I'll be surprised if they run the ball in this game, but Eli's going to win it for them. Did you hear that? Did you hear what I just said? Man. Alex Smith is going to look like he did last year in that Chief uniform when he came into the Meadowlands. And he couldn't hit the side of a barn. Giants upset him.
Chris,
I know.
Chris, buddy.
Oh, come on. We were right there at the end of the game last week. You couldn't beat the Falcons? Come on.
I love you, but the onset of dementia is upon you. Oh, my God. Man.
Folks, when the Giants turn this around next year, you remember what Jerry Foley, what he's been saying all season. No, I'm only kidding. Listen, I'm going to go with the Giants in an upset win at MetLife Sunday. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. That's admirable of you. Admirable. All right, so here's back to reality. What I'll say is I think the Giants lose a close one again. I think Alex
Smith's going to beat him?
Yeah, I think they'll do
it. Oh, Jordan Reed about 11 times, I guess, tight end.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they'll do enough to be ahead for most of the game. The Giants will mount a comeback where the 10,000 or so in attendance start cheering, but in the end, they'll fall short. I don't see them doing well with this defense. I know that the secondary is not great, but they're ranked 5th overall. I think this is a bad matchup for the Giants. I like the Redskins by 10. Whether it's like they're up 3 and then Manning throws a pick 6 or fumbles.
What's your favorite pizzeria by your house?
Oh, DiLorenzo's on.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Hang on real quick. Let me. For the Trenton people listening, DiLorenzo's on Sloan Avenue, not that Hudson Street imitation in Robbinsville.
Oh, I thought you don't go to one by your house?
There's a couple. Okay. There's a couple. They were brothers. And
well, I'll tell you what
I'll do with you. The other brother, but DiLorenzo's on Sloan.
I'll tell you what I'll do with you. If the Redskins beat the Giants by 10 Sunday, then I'm on me at that DiLorenzo's.
All right, done.
Okay?
All right. Cool. I'm not betting you, though, because...
No, you don't have to bet me.
I'll save mine for a different one.
Okay, and another quick thing I found a little interesting, talking to Betcha the other day, how he's going to mix in Sean Chandler in the slot this week.
Cool.
I thought that was.
We'll see what happens.
No. I don't mean as far as affecting the Redskins game. I'm just saying I found that some of these young kids are going to play more, and I thought Chandler was strictly a safety, but he's going to throw him in the slot. So I thought that was that's something to look for just for these young kids. That's all.
That's good. And Chandler is a good kid. He came from Temple. He actually played with my wife's cousin, who's there now.
Right.
He talked about him. He's like, you got a good kid in Chandler.
Jerry, I'm throwing a plug in for your cousin, for your blood relative there. Your wife's cousin, I believe it is, right?
Yes.
I mean, and here I am throwing a plug in another Temple kid, and you kind of blew me off just now.
I blew off. It's hard to get excited about the Giants. That's what it is, and I know that's kind of our job. But I'm envisioning how the game's going to go, and you're bringing up guys that might play, and I'm happy for them. But
we have to look at these kids, my friend. I mean, Sean Chandler's a great kid, and he's a great kid. I talked to the locker room. He's a great kid, great 100%. Story.
Yes.
Betcha said he's going to put him in a slot, and you're telling me you're just yeah, okay, whatever. Well, what is that?
I'm happy for Sean Chandler. I hope he.
You know what? Now you just
five interceptions in the game, buddy.
Now you just what to me now. Now I see what you're doing now. Okay, let's move on.
No, but in all seriousness, I played at Temple with my wife's cousin, and they.
Oh my gosh!
Zach Mesday, he's got a few sacks. They call him Rudy. He hates that because he was a walk-on. He can't stand that nickname. Anyway, I digress. Giants lose by 10. Chris has them winning. We'll see who's right. But once again,
can we get a little excitement? Can we get a little excitement for Grant Haley? I mean, we're going to see him too.
Yes, I cannot wait to see the 5'9" corner. Yes. We're going to do this.
Oh, man. I tell you what, I hope Grant has a pick Sunday, man. I'm telling you.
Yes. No, I know. Penn State.
I'm going to invite him on his podcast. Yeah. And you're going to have to say how you made fun of his size, okay?
I didn't make fun of his size. I'm pointing out that he's a 5'9" corner, free agent. It's hard to get excited about it, but listen, I am on board, and so that's all I got. I got nothing else, guys. Chris, awesome job by you, man. I'm depressed. Chris is all fired up. This is wonderful. Thank you.
I love young kids. It's the future, bud.
No, all right. I'm in, and it's 3 weeks before we see Loletta. But anyway, be sure to order your copy of the Giant Insider newspaper. Go to www.giantinsider.com or visit magster.com for a digital subscription. That's magzter.com. Yearly subs are $40 for paper copies, and the digital version is only $17. The next podcast will be 8 p.m. Monday, October 29th, when we discuss the Giant 10-point loss. Thank you for listening to the Giant Insider podcast.
Are we talking about baseball at all? We're not going to talk about baseball?
No, not yet. No, the Red Sox will probably wrap it up by then. Oh, by the way, real quick, I went to a Devils game last night, and I think there were maybe 100 people there. I actually tweeted it out.
Whoa. How would you know? You didn't know what happened.
No, I wasn't paying attention. I was in one of those.
All right, so there could have been 17,000 people there. You were too busy eating and drinking.
I was in a luxury box, and I was everything that was wrong with sports last night. I admit it. I didn't pay any attention to the hockey game because it's not the Rangers. I mean, there's one team in the Northeast, and I just was not paying attention at all. I could care less. People were leaving, and I'm going, why are they leaving? And it was overtime. They scored. It was pathetic. I was the worst version of myself last night at a sporting event. I was everything wrong with sports last night. I admit it. But anyway, guys, back to the Giants. I'm Jerry Foley. He's Chris Bizignano. And remember, guys, Sundays are Giant days. Take care, everybody, and thank you. Great job, Chris. Thanks, man.
Thank you, bud. Bye-bye, everybody.